Hello ladies, it's Beth from Be Styled and it's time for Tipsy Tuesday. Welcome. Today I want to talk about one of our least favorite words that's used a lot in the over 50 crowd, especially when talking about style and fashion, and that is the F word, frumpy. The reason I thought about this is yesterday I was reading an article and I got the idea of posting in my private Facebook group, the Just Get Dressed Facebook group that's open to everyone. I was reading an article about how different generations, Gen X, Gen Z, millennials, how they define certain things, like the word frumpy. And I was like, I've got boomers, I've got Gen X's, which I think is what I am. I'm on the cusp of I'm almost a boomer, but I'm not quite there. I'm a Gen X. And then, my kids are Gen Zs. And what's the other one? No, my kids are whatever. My kids are no, then there's millennials. The millennials are like the kids in the 40s, 20s, 30s, and 40s, and then my kids are Gen Zs. And then there's Gen X, which is a little older. But anyway, that's irrelevant. But anyway, we were talking about how these different age groups, let's call them, would define the word frumpy. And across the board, all of us boomers, Gen whatever I am's, kind of have the same definition. It's kind of the kind of thing that you know it when you see it. It's ill-fitting clothes that are dated looking, clothes that are clearly just not modern or hip, that are just don't fit right, that just show like you're not putting yourself together, okay? In a nutshell. But one of my friends talked to her daughter who's in her 20s, who's into fashion, and we had a text about it, and she said her daughter defined frumpy, and she even sent a picture as olive cargo jackets with skinny jeans, and she showed a picture of like an influencer wearing an olive cargo coat, a white t-shirt, I think, skinny jeans, maybe with some distressing, holding a Starbucks cup. Now, that just cracks me up, because that was like the quintessential look of the, I don't know what years, the 2000 teens maybe. That's just the way all the young moms dressed. I mean, I was already an older mom at that point, so I didn't necessarily dress that way. Well, no, actually I did, because in every fall style system for the longest time, what was always in the fall style system? An olive cargo coat. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've spent searching for, an affordable version, a high-end version of an olive cargo jacket. Well, come to find out, I guess they're frumpy now, according to Gen X, millennials, whatever she is. They're not only frumpy, but they're also cringy, which is not good. And I think bougie was the other word, which I thought bougie meant fancy, but there's another word, somebody can tell me what it is, that's like a negative thing. Anyway, go figure. But got me thinking about the word frumpy. And of course I could stand up here and talk about all the things that are frumpy and what to wear instead, and I'm sure I've done it. I'll go into the archives. I probably have done that video. I know I have. But all you have to do, if you're wondering, just type it into Google. There are so many resources, so many fantastic blog posts with pictures and whatnot, and you can figure it out. I spend time in my private paid group, the Style System group, giving women one-on-one advice on how to change a look from, try not to use the word frumpy, but trying to eliminate any frumpdom and improve outfits. But I can do that one-on-one. It's hard to do that, in a forum like this. But there are a lot of bloggers and influencers who do a great job. So just Google it. But what I want to talk about today is mindset, frumpy thinking. I've been thinking about this a lot, and I'm just going to share what I've gleaned from this, just from doing some researching and reading. And I am calling it frumpy thinking. I actually have never heard of anyone else call it that, but maybe I'm going to coin the phrase. Frumpy thinking, ladies. We need to stop the frumpy thinking. What is frumpy thinking? Frumpy thinking is a mindset. It's ageism, is what it is. It's when you or I create rules or limitations, put limitations on ourselves based on our age. And it usually starts with the sentence, I can't fill in the blank, or I'm not good at fill in the blank. I don't do that. That's not my thing. Or it's too late for me to change this, that, or the other thing. Or that's passed me by. I'm too old for that. I missed the boat. All those things we say in conversations with each other are limiting beliefs. And I want us all to stop and replace that. This is a Tony Robbins-ism that my husband taught me years ago. He went to some work event 20 some odd years ago, and he was taught in this like self-improvement businessy conference that he went to, when you have these negative thoughts or ineffective thoughts, say cancel, cancel. I've been saying to my kids, you probably have heard it. When your kid says, I'm no good at math, you say cancel, cancel. No, cancel, cancel. Cancel that negative thinking. Replace it with something else. And we need to do that. We are grown women. We need to remove these I can't. And let's give you some examples, okay? I'm going to give you some concrete examples. What's one of the most common one we hear? I can't lose weight. I can't get in shape. I'm going through menopause. I've got bad feet. I've got sore this. And granted, a lot of people, a lot of humans have physical limitations. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about injuries and major physical limitations. I'm talking more about the mindset of, oh, I'm too old to start a new workout program, or I've never been able to do push-ups. I can't do push-ups. I'm not strong enough. That kind of talk, okay? I'm not going to get into, major, exceptions, but talking about, saying because of menopause, I can't lose weight. Because of this, I can't get into shape. And I want to share a podcast that I listened to on my way home from New Jersey last week she's a marketing guru. Her name is Jenna Kutcher. She's young, but she's really smart, and she has struggled with her weight forever, for her entire life. She's been on every diet. She says in it, she's like, and I used to work out. Her husband's in a workout person, and she's not. But she said she never felt like a workout really counted unless she was red in the face and really sore the next day and gushing with sweat. If those things weren't happening, then she didn't give herself credit for working out. She was very extreme. So she would be on strict diets, plans, with paying all this kind of money to be, just very, very diet and exercise focused all the time. And she never had any success. She really struggled until a year ago. She's a new mom, just had her second child. And she was like, enough is enough. And she worked with a nutritionist, and over the past year has gotten very healthy. She's completely changed her life in terms of her health goals. And she says in the podcast, never once did when she talked to this nutritionist about what her goals were, or when she thought to herself, like, what do I want to accomplish? She never talked about the size of the jeans she wanted to wear. She never talked about how much she wanted to weigh. She talked about how she wanted to feel, how she wanted to live. And she used words like, I want to feel strong. I want to feel vibrant. I want to be able to live a long life and chase after my kids. And in our case, chase after grandchildren and get down on the ground and play with them and run with them and do those things and live a full life that's not limited by physical limitations that can come about as we get older and more sedentary and pack on the extra pounds and get, just makes it harder to move and live that vibrant life that I know we all want to live. So she changed her mindset, and that's what changed everything. And you can listen to her story. And she talks about all the different really neat things she did. But you can listen to I highly recommend the podcast. But another thing that she says to herself now when she's making a food choice or an exercise choice is she thinks, okay, her name's Jenna, what would, the most healthy, vibrant Jenna choose right now? Would she choose the grilled cheese? She's famous for loving grilled cheese. Would she choose the grilled cheese that for like a minute might make her feel better and, feel like she's treating herself? And then an hour later, she's like in a tired coma on the couch while her kid is like playing video games. Or does she choose something with protein that's going to energize her? And what Jenna does she want to be in that moment? And what choice is she going to make? So I thought that was powerful. Okay. So that addresses the whole diet and exercise thing. I'm going to talk about push-ups though next, because that's a good Mary story. But the second example I have is the whole, I can't wear that. I can't wear that because whatever. And I'll use an example for myself. Up until I turned 50, if you knew me, I did not wear shorts. I did not wear shorts, and I did not wear dresses without tights. Ever, ever, ever. Because I have very varicose veins. I have pretty severe. I mean, there are definitely worse, but they're not pretty varicose veins. Fortunately they're mostly on the inside of my calves, all the way up. They're they're getting better. I think the more active I've become, they've gotten better. But childbirth and all that didn't help. And then I have some on the back of my legs as well. And I was very self-conscious about it. I remember being self-conscious of them back in like my early 20s even. So I've had them for a long time. I can thank both my parents had them. But I just didn't wear shorts. I can't wear shorts because I have varicose veins. And then something happens when you turn 50. Those of you ladies who have turned 50 or 60, even more so 70, you kind of wake up one day and you're like, well, that's stupid. Like, what do I care? You know, I'm 50 years old. Who am I? You know, and now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna work out my legs and try to make them as strong and healthy as possible. I'm going to shave them pretty frequently, you know, and I'm going to moisturize them, and I'm going to throw self-tanner on them so the veins aren't quite so obvious. And I'm going to wear shorts and not worry about it. Okay. So if there's something that you want to wear that you think you wish you could wear, guess what? You can wear it. And there's ways to figure it out. Okay. So don't say, I can't wear something unless you don't want to wear it. If you don't want to wear it, then just say, of course I could wear that. I choose not to. I don't like it. It doesn't suit me. That's a whole nother story. But to see something and say, oh, I wish I could wear fill in the blank, but I can't because I'm this. No, you got to change that. Think about it in terms of bathing suits. I can't wear a two-piece bathing suit, or I can't wear a bathing suit without, always being totally covered up. You can't, or you choose not to, or you really could, and maybe you would really enjoy it. Okay. So limiting beliefs about what you can and can't wear. Another big one that I hear all the time is, oh, Beth, I couldn't pull that off. How many times do we say that? I can't pull that off. Here's one example. A client who, this sounds so basic to so many people, but it really wasn't for her, and it's not for a lot of women. She was seeing everyone in the group wearing, modern jeans. They might have been skinny jeans back at the time. This goes back a few years, but let's say they're just a straight leg ankle jean with a pair of neutral booties. I mean, that's sort of like just kind of my go-to uniform in the fall. And she was like, Beth, I'm 60 years old. I can't pull that off with those booties. They're so pointy, and they're just so like young looking, and I can't pull that off. You look great. I mean, I think I was only a couple years younger. You look great, but I can't pull that off. I was like, you can't, or you don't like it, or no, I love it. I think it's great, but what would people think? What would my kids, what are they going to think? I'm dressed this crazy way with my jeans and booties. And I was like, just give it a try. Okay, let's just give it a try. You can return them. Let's just order these, give it a try, see what you think. She does, and lo and behold, of course, the end of the story. She loved them. And the feedback she got from her kids, her, grown, older teenage kids were like, Mom, wow, you look great. I love your shoes. Or they probably didn't even comment on the shoes. They just, her whole appearance looked more up to date, more modern, just by changing her shoes and the silhouette of her pants. Simple as that. Everything else stayed the same. Okay. But she didn't think she could pull it off. Guess what? She could. Another example, mother of the bride. Friend found a dress that she absolutely loved, that her and the bride loved. It's a gorgeous, simple, very simple. Doesn't have sequins, doesn't have glitz, simple, fitted, not bodycon like va va voom, elegant, Jackie O, Audrey Hepburn, gorgeous dress. But she was like, oh, getting some, maybe it's not mother of the bride dress enough. I don't want to look like I'm trying too hard. I don't want to look too sexy or too much. But I love this dress. So I was like, well, send me a picture of the dress, thinking, oh gosh, but maybe it is a little too va va voom. And, but she sent me the dress, and I'm like, that is just, you look unbelievable. It's spectacular. Are you sure? I don't want. No. Yes, you can pull it off. Don't overthink these things. If you love it, and obviously you're going to want to ask some trusted friends, but make sure you take advice with a grain of salt too. Okay. And if you hear yourself saying, I can't pull that off, dig deep and figure out what you're really afraid of. And to take it from there. I'm too old for that kind of talk. You got to really think about that kind of talk. Okay. Next is my push-ups. How many times do women of a certain age, oh, push-ups, I used to do push-ups. I used to do a couple when I was in my 30s. I can't do push-ups anymore. I'm too old. No, you're not. Push-ups are one of the single best exercises that I think we should all do until our dying days, literally. And if you can't do a push-up now, they are not easy. But they are using your own body weight. I think they're better than lifting weights. You can do them anytime, anywhere, and you don't have to spend a lot of time. You can start slow, go against a wall to start out, then you work your way to the table, Google it, look for videos, and then you go on your knees and get better at that. And you're not doing 100, just work your way up until you're finally able to do a full big girl push-up. Okay? When Mary was 85 years old, she was no spring chicken, as she would have said. She was living with me, and that was when she was very rambunctious back then. Let me tell you, God rest her soul. But I had my girlfriends over for it was probably book club, but we never read the book. We just drank wine, and we were all in the family room and talking and having our wine. And I got up to go to the ladies' bathroom, and I come back into the family room, and there's a circle of my friends around somebody on the floor, which I assumed was Mary, and I thought, okay, this is it. This is the big one. This is it. My mother has had a heart attack. She is on the ground. This is it. This is that day I've been dreading. Got to call 911. And then I'm like, they're kind of like laughing. They're like talking. Then the whole mood changed. I'm like, okay, she's not on the ground in medical distress. She was on the ground doing push-ups. She was demonstrating how at 85 years old, she could still do push-ups. She might have been on her knees. I think she was probably still on her knees, but she was doing multiple push-ups. And she had good form. She had honed the skill. And at 85, she was still doing them. And I think she was still doing them at 90, early 90s. She was still occasionally doing push-ups. And then it was just too hard to get up and down. But she would do leg lifts and all kinds of stuff on her bed until literally maybe 2 months before she passed away. So you're not too old to do push-ups, okay? I challenge you to start doing push-ups every day. You'll thank me someday. Okay, how about bigger things? Like I can't change my job. I can't start a small business. It's too late to do all those things. I've missed the boat. What boat? There's no boat. I can't buy a boat. If it's something you really want to do, find the way to do it. You're a grown-up. Yeah, there are limitations. There are financial limitations and whatnot, but don't just write it off because I'm too old. That's frumpy thinking, okay? Think about if your empty nest. We were talking about this in another group yesterday. Those of you who have kids going off to college, like your last kid or your first kid going off to college, and it's a big transition for mom, right? You talk about getting fired from the best job you ever had or the best job you ever did, when that kid leaves the nest. And it can be sad, and it's okay to feel sad. Of course we miss them, but girls, women, ladies, think about it. Change that thinking. That's frumpy thinking. Change the thinking. This is an opportunity for you. You have been taking care of these humans for all these years. You've done your job. That's your goal, is to launch them. The goal is for them to go off, right? That means you've done your job. And of course you're going to be sad, but don't wallow in it. And think about in advance of when they actually leave. Start making that list of things that I want to do when I have an empty nest, when I don't have to go to soccer games and baseball games all day on Saturday, when I can, I don't have to get up at 5 in the morning and drive to school, all those things that you have to do. Think of all the things you could do instead. And trust me, as a mother of somewhat grown kids, we're getting there, it makes them so happy to see their parents happy, living lives aside from them. That's a lot of pressure to live vicariously through your kids. Kids don't need that kind of pressure to have their parents living vicariously through them and not having their own completely separate lives and interests. So do yourself a favor and develop those interests so that when they are gone, you are good to go with lots of fun things to do. Okay, so frumpy thinking. We're going to stop talking like old ladies. I have one other example from myself. Whenever I'm out at a restaurant with friends, 9 times out of 10, I have forgotten to bring reading glasses. And I start this same conversation. Ever since I turned 50, my vision has just gone to crap, pardon the expression. I can't see anything. Can't see the menu. Can't see. It's so annoying. I'm just, this whole turning 50, blah, blah. I hear, from now on, I'm not saying it. I'm so sick of hearing myself say that. It was, at first, it was just, it's become a habit, to be honest, for me to talk about how, oh, I can't see. All right. You know, poor Mary was blind at 97. I mean, talk about complaining. All I need is to go find myself. First of all, I need to not forget these everywhere I go. I need to, what I'm going to do is go and talk to eye professional, and have them tell me the best glasses for my face. And I'm going to find a fabulous pair of frames that when I put them on, I feel like, oh, these look pretty cool. Haven't found them yet. I still don't love the way I look in glasses. Maybe that's why I never have them with me, but I'm going to find a pair. I'm going to have them, and I'm going to stop complaining about my deteriorating vision. And I'm going to take care of my eyes and take my vitamins and wear my sunglasses and do all those other things and eat a healthy diet that helps with eyes as well. But I'm going to stop complaining about how old age has made me so I can't see anymore. Okay. So no more stop talking like an old lady. No more frumpy thinking. And I think that's all I had. So I hope someone got some inspiration from this. I'm doing this also for myself, because it's easy to fall into these habits. So let's focus on the benefits of this age that we're in. There's always a benefit to your current age. And you know what? You don't have any other option, you know? And if not now, when? If there's things you want to do, if not now, when? Get started doing the things that you want to do, making the changes you want to make, making the improvements you want to make. Just do it. Just do it. Just get dressed and try new things. TNT, that's another great expression that I came across. TNT, try new things. Try new things. Stop the old lady frumpy thinking and just do it. Just get dressed and just have a great day and have a great life. Carpe diem, ladies. All right, that's it for Tipsy Tuesday. I'll go back and see if anyone had any questions. I can't see anything you've written, so sorry if I missed any questions, but I'll put my glasses on and go back and read it. It's been fun hanging with you. Mwah. Next week, I think we're going to talk about spring trends. Either spring trends or we're going to talk about essentials. One or both of those things. But we'll be back to close next week, okay? Bye for now.